In my world there is music and good vibes and laughter and lovers, adventure and friendship. We know who we are.
Welcome to Be the Wellness Podcast, where we help you master your body, mind, and the experience of life through insightful conversation, interviews with experts and thought leaders, all with a side of marital banter and some good old-fashioned humor.
Yes, we are your hosts, Adam and Vanessa Lambert, and we're committed to helping you live life fully expressed physically, mentally, and experientially. Sit back, grab a cup of coffee, and join the conversation.
Hello and welcome everybody to Be the Wellness Podcast. We are Adam. Actually, I am Adam. You are Vanessa.
Yes.
And we are here to tell you some cool shit.
Yes. And I am actually like a really Vanessa right now because we just got back from Peru. And, you know, I changed from Vanessa to Vanessa when we are in Latin-speaking countries.
Yeah, that's the transition.
So I'm in full Vanessa mode right now. And we are super excited to be back from Peru, back for the second time this year. Took a group on the Salcantay trek again, and it was absolutely fantastic, unbelievable, incredible, amazing, beautiful, spectacular. Yes.
Yeah, it's everything, you know, it's just what happens in Peru.
Peru's magic.
The place is, it's magic. And, you know, it's kind of, I mean, we go back to places, right? I mean, like Costa Rica is a regular for us, right? Like we go back to places frequently to experience the different aspects of it. And for some reason, like I think both of us thought that Peru was going to be some kind of different. You know, we're like, well, we've sort of done this. And so what's it going to be like the second time?
Right. Which is kind of funny because we have done Costa Rica time and time again, like a pretty similar retreat. And every time it's different and amazing and unique. So it's funny that we thought going back to Peru, we were skeptical that it could possibly be as magical as it was the first time.
Yeah, like there was going to be some kind of, I don't know. Like
complacency
difference.
Or like, you know, like, okay, we've done this. But honestly, it was unbelievable. And I think that what I realized about Peru is that if anything, your relationship just gets deeper and richer and more connected. Mm-hmm. And I definitely felt like, although it was the same trek and the same, you know, quote unquote experience, it was absolutely brand new in all of its magnificence and was absolutely as beautiful or a different kind of beautiful or whatever than it was the first time.
Yeah, because this is the thing about the Andes. I mean, I suppose every mountain range, right, to some degree. But with the cloud forest and with all of the different temperate zones and like the different ecosystems, so to speak, that you travel through, especially on the Salcantay trek, like if it's foggy one day, it's a completely different experience.
Totally.
Than if the fog lifts on that day and you can see everything around you, you know? So it's like, it's never going to be the same trip.
It's kind of actually, you know? It reminds me a lot of Burning Man, honestly, because everything comes back to Burning Man, of course, but because, you know, we go every year. This will be our 8th year. And yes, technically it's Burning Man. It's the same thing, but every year is completely different. The experience, the weather, the people, everything is always different. So it reminded me a lot of that. And I was, you know, the similarity there is that you leave feeling so much more like yourself than you did when you came, and so much more connected and grounded and just rejoicing in the specialness of your life and your experience.
Yeah, it's like, you know, I think what it comes down to is just being thrust into nature, you know, so it was kind of a similar scenario in Africa, right? Like we were just out in nature all day, every single day. And it was very, very, very grounding and like, you know,
I'm home.
I'm home. Yeah. It's like, I'm just out here in the world. And it's a very similar scenario, you know,
Absolutely.
when you're just like, you get a little feral out there.
You know? Totally get feral.
I mean, as feral as you can get sleeping in luxury lodges with
with private chefs and jacuzzis and
right. But you know,
You're basically, a wild animal. Yeah. So we wanted to take this opportunity. Obviously, we've done a full podcast before on the experience of Peru and how amazing that is. And we will reference that in the show notes. So if you want to go back and listen to more detail about the Salcantay Trail and really what goes on in that experience, then check that out. Check the link out. But we wanted to take today to actually announce that we are going to be going back in 2020. And we are super excited because we're actually bringing on some awesome guest coaches to help us expand this offering and lead both the Salcantay Trek, which is the one that we've done the last 2 years. And this year we'll be adding the additional option of doing the Lares Trek. So we are super excited to welcome Steph Gaudreau, formerly of Stupid Easy Paleo, and her awesome husband, Craig Zielinski, also known as Z, as our guest coaches that are going to be leading the Salcantay Trail for us, which is just really exciting because obviously we love that trek. It's so amazing. But we also had the opportunity to scout the Lares Trek this year at before our trip started, and it's equally and as amazing and beautiful and special. And we really want to be able to offer both treks this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we are.
So we are.
Which is, and dude, it's pretty freaking awesome to have Steph and Z
so
coming,
cool.
right? Like we haven't known them that long,
right.
But they came to B-Fest and we did the podcast swaps like a year or so ago. And then they came to B-Fest and we're like, dude, these people are homies.
They're such homies and they're such trusted coaches and friends, and just the way that they are in the world is like so beautiful and perfect for our community. And so we couldn't be more excited to welcome them and partner with them in this endeavor. And the cool thing about this is that basically what will happen is both groups, so we'll be leading the Lares Trek and Z and Steph will be leading the Salcantay Trek. Both groups will meet in Cusco. We'll have our acclimation days together. So we'll have the first 2 days together in Cusco. And then we'll actually go on our separate ways, go on our separate treks, and then we'll meet again in Aguas Calientes and do our Machu Picchu day together and our extra day in Aguas Calientes. Yeah. So we were joking with Steph, it's like party in the front, party in the back, because, it's going to be the bigger group together, and then we'll separate, go on our smaller treks as the individual groups, and then come back together at the end to celebrate our big accomplishment and the amazing experience that we all had.
Yeah, so it's super cool. So we get 4 total days as the big group.
Yes.
Two of those in Aguas Calientes at the end of the trek, 2 of those in Cusco at the beginning.
Yes.
Which is awesome because it's like, well, they're both really cool towns.
They're really cool towns.
There's a lot of fun things to do to just kind of hang out and trip around. And they're relatively small towns. And there's something that's really cool about being somewhere, foreign land, in South America, and running into people that you fundamentally know.
Yeah, totally.
And like that's what happens in Cusco and Aguas Calientes both. Like when we're there on the acclimation days, you're just acclimating. So that means some people are literally laying in bed, others are out shopping and carrying on. And when you have a big enough group in these little towns, you're tripping around in places and you're like, oh, hey.
You're running into each other. Yeah.
There's this person, so it's pretty cool.
Totally. And we'll do our meals together. So if you don't happen to run into people, we will have dedicated time to like spend together and, bond up and eat and, share some really amazing culinary experiences, because both Cusco and Aguas Calientes have amazing food and some really amazing sights and scenery. So we're really excited, and we wanted to dive into sort of some of the differences about the trip today, so folks out there can make their mind up about which trek they would prefer to go on.
Yeah.
And, one of the things that we were talking to Steph about is, these treks, we have guides, right? So there are actual guides that are leading the trek that, this isn't Adam and I or Steph and Z actually leading the treks. We are your coaches, and we are the people that are going to keep you on track and keep you, your bodies and your minds and everything working together and seamlessly for the experience. But both treks are individually led by professional guides through the Andes and through the various locations. So, you don't have to worry about whether or not one of these is, going to be either of us is more seasoned about it or anything, because you're in good hands with the professional guides who are leading it. This is just more about you deciding what kind of experience you'd like to have in Peru.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%, because they are different. God, they're both so awesome, but they're just different.
Yes.
So let's dive into the Salcantay first.
Right.
So Salcantay Trek, if I was going to put, we gave it a moniker this year, the Rite of Passage.
Yes.
And so the deal with Salcantay is that it is a journey. It's 5 days on the trail, en route to Machu Picchu.
Right.
And en route to Machu Picchu are several amazing things. There's, not including the lodges that you're going to stay in, but there's Lake Umantai. So you're going to be up and over 14,000 feet on like day 2. Mm-hmm. And then there's the Salcantay Pass, which is 15,200 feet, which you're going to be up and over on day 3. And then on the way down the backside from Salcantay, you go through 18 microclimates, I think.
Something like that. Yeah.
16 or 18 microclimates. You go through a cloud forest. You basically descend from the bottom of a glacier to the jungle.
Right.
Over the course of the next couple of days. And it is remarkable.
Yes, it is amazing. And it's really a trekking intensive experience. Like once you start at your first lodge, you are trekking from lodge to lodge. And obviously there's horses and there's mules and there's things that are taking all your packs. And, if there's someone has a difficulty, they can always hop on the horse. And so there's assistance, but you're not getting driven from lodge to lodge.
Right.
Like once you get dropped in, you're hiking to Machu Picchu. And that's really, you're hiking to the train that takes you into Aguas Calientes. So it's really about going deep into nature, experiencing a tremendous hike and trek, and being, deep into that experience, into the physical experience, and being deep with nature, and really experiencing going into the heart of the Andes.
Yeah. Yep. That's really it. And so it is. It's more arduous.
Yes.
Right. And mostly because of the elevation and the fact that there are no options.
Right. Other than a horse.
Right. Yeah. So it's like you're on the trail, and if for some reason something goes sideways and you can't make it, then there are horses there. But it's not like a choose your own adventure where, today I'm going to do this.
Yes.
That's where the other
comes in. Alternatively.
Yeah. The Lares is much more of a choose your own adventure scenario, where basically, and don't get me wrong, there's, we can be up and over 14,000 feet, and some beautiful, ridiculous hiking is to be had there.
Right.
But pretty much every day there's an option of doing a cultural activity, which is that's like the Peruvian word for something to do with their culture.
Right.
So it could be, just literally spending some time in one of the towns. It could be hanging out at a farm, getting a tour of local farms and chilling with those people. It could be textiles. So there's so many things that are going on in these small little villages out in the Andes that you get some options in there, right? Or you hike.
Or you can hike, And that's really the beauty of the Lares Trek, is that it is a choose your own adventure, and you get to decide every day. The guide will give you sort of a briefing the night before and say, okay, these are the options for the hikes tomorrow. These are the options for your cultural experience, and everybody can choose what they want to do. And the cool thing is you don't have to do it as a group. So there could be some people that choose to go, I want to do the textile factory, and some people who say, no, I want to do the hike, or a combination thereof. So there's a lot of opportunity for you to figure out and decide what's good for you that day and in that experience.
Right.
And it's really cool. Adam and I had the opportunity to do the first 3 days of that trek before we did Salcantay. And, again, we were super skeptical because we were like, I don't know, Salcantay is so amazing.
Yeah.
And we were just so pleasantly surprised and blown away with how lovely and amazing the other trail was as well. So it really isn't about one of them being better than the other. Mm-hmm. It's about, you choosing what speaks to your heart. Do you want to be on a deep, intensive experience of trekking, or do you want sort of a taste of Peru intermixed with trekking and some cultural stuff?
Yeah.
So it's really up to you guys. And we would love for you to learn more about this. The point of this podcast is to kind of clue you into this happening next year. This is going to take place in March of 2020. So we have the pre-sale list available now. You guys can sign up for the pre-sale list, get on there, and as soon as you sign up for it, you'll get actually the full details of the experience.
Right.
So you'll get access to the full webpage. You'll be able to see everything, and then that way you can start to decide which experience is right for you.
Yeah, which one of these things is going to be best for you. And, you know, in this one, when we've done this in the last 2 years, just with the Salcantay itself, it sells out pretty quickly.
Yes.
You know, it's like, this is one that people are stoked on for a good reason.
Yes.
You know, and so it's like, and it goes, you know, and the big difference this year, of course, being that it's got a whole other audience with Steph and Z coming.
Right.
And so
You're
going to want to be on the pre-sale list. You know, you're really, if you have even the slightest iota of that sounds cool and maybe I should think about going, get on the pre-sale list. There's zero obligation. That's free. It's all of the things. Just get on there so that you can get access to this before, you know, it goes live at the same time that everybody else does.
Yeah, exactly. So we're really excited about this. Obviously, you know, this was our second year in a row, and there was no doubt to us within the first couple of days that we were coming back. We're like, you know, this place is just so special. It's so spectacular. And, you know, obviously our conundrum was, how do we bring more people and how do we offer more of this? Because it's so special. We want people to have these experiences. And, you know, this is what life is all about, to go and use your physicality and use your connection and all the things that we work so hard to create. And we were super excited that Steph and Z were up to take the challenge of leading a group and being able to partner with them and being able to open this up to a little bit bigger of an audience this year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So without further ado.
Yes.
Click on the link in the show notes down here below and get on that pre-sale list.
Yep.
If you're not a show note link clicker, then just go to the experiences page, Machu Picchu, and it'll take you to the same spot on our website.
Yep. And you'll get all the details, all the dates, all the pricing, all the.
Yes.
And then some.
And then some.
Yes.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. And we hope to see you guys in Peru next year. We honestly can't tell you enough of what an amazing experience it is. We had such a beautiful group this year. And in fact, a couple of dear clients were celebrating their 25th wedding anniversary. Mm-hmm. So congratulations to Sarah, Joe, and Paul. We loved having you on there and love being able to celebrate super special experiences with people. And, you know, and just, even if there's not something big to celebrate your life. Yeah. You know, come with us and see the llamas, see the alpacas.
See the baby alpacas.
Yep.
Oh, and so it's, just to be clear, it's Sarah, Joe, and Paul.
Yeah, what'd I say?
Sarah, Joe, and Paul.
Oh, yeah, it's Sarah, Joe, and Paul. They're celebrating all three of them. Or so.
25 years together.
That's pretty funny, actually.
Yeah. But, you know.
All right, guys, we hope to see you soon, and we'll be back with you next week. Bye.
Bye.